Gill.
Thank you, Chairwoman Green, and I apologize. I'm getting over a cold, so I'm losing my voice here. Ms. Maher, I want to start with you. Just generally, would you say you generally agree or disagree with the following statement? The history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggles?
I would not say I agree with that, sir.
You're not. That's good to hear. It's interesting because a lot of your thinking, as expressed by your public statements, is deeply infused with economic and cultural Marxism. Do you believe that America is addicted to white supremacy?
Hey everyone, welcome to True Voice. If you're new here, don't forget to like and subscribe. We break down the stories that matter and speak the truth that too many are afraid to say. Today, we're reacting to a recent hearing where Representative Gill absolutely grilled NPR CEO Katherine Maher over her past tweets and NPR's use of taxpayer dollars. The clip is from Forbes Breaking News, and if you haven't seen it, buckle up. Let's watch.
I believe that I tweeted that, and as I've said earlier, I believe much of my thinking has evolved over the last half decade.
It has evolved. Why did you tweet that?
I don't recall the exact context, sir, so I wouldn't be able to say.
Okay. Do you believe that America believes in black plunder and white democracy?
I don't believe that, sir.
You tweeted that in reference to a book you were reading at the time, apparently, The Case for Reparations.
I don't think I've ever read that book, sir.
You tweeted about it. You said you took a day off to fully read The Case for Reparations. You put that on Twitter in January of 2020.
I apologize. I don't recall that I did.
Okay.
I'd no doubt that your tweet there is correct, but I don't recall that.
Okay. Do you believe that white people inherently feel superior to other races?
I do not.
You don't? You tweeted something to that effect. You said, I grew up feeling superior. How white of me. Why did you tweet that?
I think I was probably reflecting on what it was to grow up in an environment where I had lots of advantages.
It sounds like you're saying that white people feel superior.
I don't believe that anybody feels that way, sir. I was just reflecting on my own experiences.
Do you think that white people should pay reparations?
I have never said that, sir.
Yes, you did. You said it in January of 2020. You tweeted, yes, the North, yes, all of us, yes, America, yes, our original collective sin and unpaid debt, yes, reparations, yes, on this day.
I don't believe that was a reference to fiscal reparations, sir.
What kind of reparations was it a reference to?
I think it was just a reference to the idea that we all owe much to the people who came before us.
That's a bizarre way to frame what you tweeted. Okay, how much reparations have you personally paid?
Sir, I don't believe that I've ever paid reparations.
Okay, it's just for everybody else.
I'm not asking anyone
Seems to be what you're suggesting. Do you believe that looting is morally wrong?
I believe that looting is illegal, and I refer to it as counterproductive. I think it should be prosecuted.
Do you believe it's morally wrong, though?
Of course.
Of course. Then why did you refer to it as counterproductive? It's a very different way to describe it.
It is both morally wrong and counterproductive, as well as being illegal.
You tweeted, it's hard to be mad about protests in reference to the BLM protests, not prioritizing the private property of a system of oppression. You didn't condemn the looting. You said that it was counterproductive. NPR also promoted a book called In Defense of Looting. Do you think that that's an appropriate use of taxpayer dollars?
I'm unfamiliar with that book, sir, and I don't believe that was at my time at NPR.
You tweeted that you read that book, but
I don't believe that I did read that book, sir.
Do you think that a few years ago NPR educated America about, quote, the whole community of genderqueer dinosaur enthusiasts? Do you think that that's an appropriate use of tax dollars?
I was not at NPR at the time, sir.
That's not the question, though. Do you think that that's an appropriate use of our tax dollars?
I think our tax dollars that we use are to be able to provide a wide range of perspectives.
I'll take that as a yes. You do believe that that's appropriate. Your health advisor at NPR also stated in an interview that, quote, fear of fatness is more harmful than actual fat. Would you like to explain how fear of fatness is more harmful than actual fat? That's an editorial at NPR.
I am not familiar with the editorial, and I don't believe that was published during my time here.
It's called Diet Culture is Everywhere. Here's how to fight it. Do you think that that's an appropriate use of taxpayer dollars?
I think any reporting on health is an appropriate use of taxpayer dollars, yes.
And you think that editorializing that fat is not unhealthy is appropriate?
I don't know what that article is, sir, and I'm not familiar with it, so I couldn't say.
This is fake news. Do you think that basic accommodations like doorways or seat belts represent, quote, latent fat phobia?
I don't have an opinion.
It's also from NPR. Do you think civility is racist?
No, sir.
No. Your outlet ran an article entitled, quote, "When Civility is Used as a Cudgel Against People of Color." That was on All Things Considered. Would you like to explain?
I'm not on the editorial side, sir. I'm not familiar with that story.
You talk about how NPR is news. This is editorialization, and I'll read it. For many people of color in the United States, civility isn't so much social lubricant as it is a vehicle for containing them, preventing social mobility, and preserving the status quo. This is garbage. I'll spend all of my time doing everything I can to ensure you guys never get another dollar of taxpayer funding. This is complete garbage. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Gill. I now recognize...
First of all, this is the CEO of National Public Radio, the outlet that we fund with our hard-earned tax dollars. And she's tweeting that America is addicted to white supremacy? Are you kidding me? She says she doesn't remember why she tweeted that. But here's the thing. If you're running a national news organization and you're putting out extreme political opinions, you better own them. If you've changed your mind, say so clearly. Don't dodge it. She's being asked if she believes in reparations. And instead of saying yes or no, she twists herself into knots trying to say it wasn't about fiscal reparations. Really? You wrote, yes, the North. Yes, all of us. Yes, America. Yes, our original collective sin. Yes, reparations. That's not vague. That's not a metaphor. That's a demand. And if you're going to make a statement like that, then yeah, someone's going to ask, how much have you paid? And she had no answer. Here's where it gets really frustrating. She called looting counterproductive. Counterproductive? That's how you describe a strategy that doesn't work, not crime. This is the kind of soft, academic language that downplays real harm. You don't get to dance around this stuff when people's lives, safety, and businesses are on the line. Looting is theft. It's violence. It destroys communities, often black and minority communities, ironically, and calling it counterproductive is a slap in the face to every law-abiding American. Genderqueer, dinosaur enthusiasts? Fear of fatness is more harmful than fat itself. What planet are these people living on? We've got working families out here trying to keep food on the table. And we're paying for NPR to run this woke nonsense? This isn't journalism. This isn't news. It's ideology, and it's taxpayer-funded. That's the real issue here. NPR has every right to publish whatever content it wants. This is a free country. But you know what? I shouldn't have to fund it. When a media outlet paid for by the government starts pushing fringe ideologies and refuses to own up to it, it's time to pull the plug. There are thousands of private outlets that do a better job, serve the public, and don't ask for a dime from taxpayers. Look, I'm not saying NPR can't exist, but it needs to stand on its own 2 feet. If it wants to be a voice for the radical fringe, let it do that, just not on our dime. Thanks for watching. If you agree that it's time to rethink taxpayer funding for biased media, hit that like button, share this video, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. God bless you all, and God bless America.